Welcome to Brit Wrestling Fan Podcast. I am your host, Andy. And as always, I'm joined with my pal Pantera. How we doing, mate?
Hello, Andy. How's everything going today? It was just another exciting week. We're going to be leading into Extreme Rules, which I believe people have buyer's remorse for actually purchasing tickets to go to this event that doesn't seem to have any real build on it, especially on the
No.
backbone of a potential draft, correct?
hmm And we only seem to have one Extreme Rules match on the card as well, which quite disturbing. But is what it is anyway. But anyway, mate, it's going to be a bit of it's a bit emotional, really, because this is our last podcast as Brit Wrestling Fan, BWF. Obviously, I set up the channel, started going on, and then obviously me and you partnered up, and we're going to change our whole outlay to reflect that, basically, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. We got word from the same focus group that Cody Rhodes used his promo focus group on. We used them. We called in a favor, and I said, Dustin, can you give me their number? So
mm,
he gave us the number, and they said that, try and do it nationally.
mm.
So I guess we're just doing that because that promo about having the first biracial baby works so well that we're going to have the first bi country podcast about wrestling that we release on Sundays. So
Mhm.
it's going to be a first. It's going to be, in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%. Same content, different name. We probably add a few more bits and bobs into it as we go along as well, some interviews and whatnot. But let's get to the big news of the week. You went viral, didn't you?
Yeah, that was exciting. I got some taps on my shoulder about how I was shared, and we thought it would happen. Sometimes you just need a good catchphrase, but I actually went around the dynamite area with the sign holding up as I was going to seat, and note if anybody has any words about that, or like if you feel like you're going to be a little reserved on that, you have to go all out and not give a shit what people say, excuse me. So just
Yeah.
hold it up and people will find you entertaining because it is in a real life situation. This is wrestling, keep that in
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah, and just in case anybody hasn't seen the pictures, obviously doing the rounds is our old friend Pantera described Mr. Kenny Omega sitting down to have a wee, which I think is pretty accurate. And I have also heard rumors that he has a mangina, but they're unconfirmed because it come from Dave Meltzer. So
Yes. From should we say from Dave Meltzer's own mouth? Ugh,
yeah, uh,
no.
yeah,
What did nobody talks about how I accidentally ran into Thunder Rosa?
you did as well, yeah.
I'll say this: she is tiny,
Mm,
very small, but you could tell she works out 3 times a day.
yeah, yeah. She looks like she hasn't had a carb since she was born, I think.
Yeah, but she was cool. I go, hey, can I get a pic? She was macking it to some dude. I didn't recognize who. It definitely was another wrestler, but it wasn't somebody that I could recognize. So
She was what?
she was macking it, meaning she was talking, maybe flirting, I guess you could say it looked
Ah,
like. But
yeah.
that's why I wanted to be quick. I wasn't gonna be like, usually when I meet wrestlers, like to have a discussion with them and try and put them in a better mood. But this one, she seemed to have a little different intention with this lucky
Mm,
dude. So,
mm. She's
but
married, isn't she? To a very rich guy, I think, as far as I'm aware.
I hope so. This guy didn't look rich, but she looks smitten with this dude. But I will say that she was a dark match too.
Mm.
She was a
Was she?
dark
Yeah?
match. Would you like
Interesting.
to know the other two dark matches? That was very interesting.
Yes, I would like to know them.
And I was on Bubba and LaGreca the other day, and I forgot about the dark matches. But one was 4 or 5 members of the Dark Order,
Hmm.
and they were facing 4 or 5 jobbers. So that was interesting. And Silver
Mm.
got a big pop, and so did Reynolds too, because they're Long Island guys. And so they won. And then this is interesting because I didn't see the first one. I guess it was the Gun Club because you were
Mm.
walking in. But before that, Big Show faced 3 guys. Paul White had a match on Dark
Hmm.
and faced 3 guys, and the Gun Club came out and stared him down. So
Interesting. So we had a dark match on there because they don't do after dark on that anymore, do they?
they had a Dark banner up.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So I was
that's interesting because they've moved to Disney with them, haven't they?
maybe Elevation was in Disney this weekend.
Mm.
And then Dark was they did a couple of Dark matches for AEW. They had the Dark banner up and everything, and then after that, going right into 8 o'clock, they went into Dynamite. So
Okay, well, we'll start with the AEW, and we'll finish off with a bit of WWE. So, first of all, obviously, I know you say he sits down when he wheezes, not a problem, but I tell you what, he can have put on a great wrestling match. Mr. Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, what a match it was.
I'm not going to disagree with you one bit.
No.
I went in there with the expectation knowing that for all the crap that I do give Omega, the guy can be elevated by other people that are inside the ring with him. We take away what he did with Mox a few months ago, which I think you and I both agree was not doing anybody any favors.
Nope.
But that was one of the I've been to a lot of events, and I'm going to be candid and honest with you. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen live.
Yeah,
and I'm proud to say that.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I done an article for WrestleBuddy the other day about my 5 takeaways from Dynamite, just like I do it every week for them. And one of my things that I stated straight away was in this match, it really did come across like the Hogan Rock moment at the beginning. He played it really well, where they didn't really touch each other for the first minute. They just eyed each other up, and then they went to the races, and we started with a few reversals, a few joint manipulation. Really, really good, wasn't it?
Because there wasn't much resting in that 30 minutes. The guy I said to me was I was with a buddy of mine, and he brought his buddy, another former wrestler, believe it or not, and he said, he's like, man, I would have loved to have seen that for an hour, an Iron Man match. I said, no. I said, people forget how there was a lot of boring spots in Brett and Sean, and this has nothing to do with them. But there was a few rest holds, and I don't blame them. You could have all the endurance in the world. When you're going at it like that for an hour, you're going to definitely be faded. So, but
see, I don't know whether you could see either, but there was certain points. I think there was a part halfway through that match when somebody passed Kenny Omega a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Which just shows you it was a hard match, wasn't it?
Absolutely, you had to do that. I'm glad that there was actually a little bit of a laugh about it, because Callis is very entertaining live. And people could say what they want, and he has some crap behind him, maybe at TNA or whatever.
I love Callis. Love him.
Remember, he when he first was coming in, it was that not WWE. That's where you really found out who he was, with the Truth Commission and all that, and then the oddities crap. And then ICP came in and just made it some wonderful place. No, I'm kidding. But overall, though, he's just been a guy who's always been in the business, and you could tell loves the business. And when he's doing the announcing lately, he's been so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's just so good in general. I think he needs that voice for Kenny. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he needs to be that voice for Kenny. I think it's perfect for Kenny Omega. I'm not going to say he's as good as, but he is the Paul Heyman of AEW, in my opinion.
You need that too, yeah, especially for the champion. That's why I don't like hearing Kenny talk, because I don't think he has the, not gonna say vocabulary, but I don't think he has the proper diction to, be somebody that's menacing on the mic. But have Don talk for you, and he's just been so well. There's one spot maybe out of that match that I didn't like, and he did this weird slam onto the table on the outside. I'm not sure if you saw that at home or if that was during the commercial break, but it just looked really weak. And we don't think of Kenny as a big, huge power lifter.
No.
So to try and do like a power slam for Bryan on the table just didn't do any measures for me.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not a fan of the Snapdragon suplex either because I just think it looks like it hits him more. I don't know.
To be honest, it does look good. I do like that move. I think it's good. The one, if I was going to criticize this match at all, I'd criticize Kenny for the what's the knee called?
The V trigger.
Yes, like I don't need to see that many V triggers. Do you know what I mean? It was just V trigger, V trigger, V trigger, and it was just like, okay, come on. Do you know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
know, it's like every time Bryan got a bit of momentum, it was V trigger again. Then it was, you know, that annoyed me a little bit. If I was going to be picky, that's where I'd pick.
That's his friends though in him. That's all
Mm,
they do, you know.
yeah,
That's what the elite do. It's just these little. That's his super kick.
yeah, yeah, which is fine, but you know, 4 times maybe. Don't need to be seeing 7 or 8 in a match. You know.
Nah, I could do two. No,
Yeah,
two is fine, man. You
yeah.
know, I think three is just like that's enough to put him away, not
Mm.
over and over and
Oh
over.
yeah, yeah.
You remember? You remember the one time it stood out when we were kids. I don't remember the last time, like the first time this happened, the last time it happened. Remember Rock Austin at
Mm,
17, and how did Austin win that?
yeah.
Chair shot after chair shot after chair shot after chair shot after chair shot. Do you remember ever seeing that?
No.
And you know, I popped for it. I had friends that go, "That was terrible." I'm like, "When was the last time you saw that?"
Yeah.
You
And that's
know?
the thing, isn't it? You don't mind when it's something that's over and you know it's something different. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. Other thing I want to say about this match is Bruce Pritchard always says it, and I've listened to him a lot of times state it, and I kind of knew what he meant, but now I do 100% know what he means in the fact of anyone can go on offense. Show me you can sell and get someone over, and I'll tell you you're a good wrestler. And 110%, Bryan Danielson, should we say, is selling in this match was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The crowd got behind him, and you heard
Yeah,
it too all the time.
yeah. And I heard when he went backstage after the match, a lot of people, including Tony Khan, went running over to him. Are you all right? Are you all right? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, oh, we thought there was actually something wrong with you halfway through the match. We thought you were just trying to get through it. And he was like, no, fine. No injuries whatsoever. So shows you how well he sold it that even wrestlers who are meant to be in the know or smarted up didn't get onto the fact that there was nothing wrong with him.
Doesn't that speak volumes of the rest of the crew that's back there, though? That they're
I
not
don't
used to doing exactly what he does, though?
Well, not really, because the one thing I will say with Bryan Danielson, it was totally different than Daniel Bryan. It really was different, and he was more aggressive. He was selling better. You know, even the selling was better. And you know, I'm not going to slight WWE on that because they have their way of doing things, and obviously here he's getting to do his own creative control and do what he wants to do. Fine with that. You know, I just thought the match was awesome. Really good story. And we called it last week, didn't we? We said it was going to be a draw.
Yeah. Yeah. You said it. I said that's probably the best way to book it,
Yeah.
you know, instead of a one-off.
Yeah. And
I
my
never.
thoughts as well when sorry to cut you off was when
Oh,
obviously when the draw went, I just thought I can't wait to hear Don Callis give Bryan Danielson loads next week and tell him he's not getting a title shot.
yeah, that was it, buddy. This is your chance.
Yeah.
I will say that's a stadium. Arthur Ashe was a stadium I've never been to in my life. It was
Mm,
gorgeous. Loved
yeah.
it. It was packed. I'm not gonna say sold out. It was packed. Um, but it was just one constant loud noise throughout the whole match. It was
Mm,
just, you know, and it elevated at a certain time, but you know, you usually have a pitch down to here. The pitch was at here because of that whole match. People knew what was happening. There was not,
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
lulls, and that's what I like being a part of.
Oh, awesome. And the thing is, like, you know, as you say, it was at one level. In Japan, a lot of the time it's quiet, isn't it?
Yes.
During the match because they're really, you know, and this was that type of match for me. I mean, you know, I sat there very quiet. I was like really like watching everything they were doing, how they were doing it. It was just fantastic technical match, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I give Omega a lot of credit for that match. I still don't like
Yeah.
the guy, but I still will give him a lot of respect. A lot of
Mm,
respect for that match because it was fantastic.
yeah.
But Andy, like you just said, maybe all of a sudden it went from Queens, New York to Japan because shortly after that, what happened to the crowd?
Yeah. That's it. And one other thing I want to say as well is just before we move on from this match was AEW were really, really clever putting this match on first because any smart mark that would have been watching this match at home or whatever would have looked at how long of the program was left or whatever and gone, this is going to a time limit or whatever it was, where by putting it as the first match on the card, it took away any kind of, you know, people trying to be smart about it. And to be fair, someone like me who'd sit there and go, "Oh, 30 minutes left of the show. Oh, here we go, time limit draw." Or if it was they weren't going down that route, I'd go, "Oh, well, there's only 20 minutes left and it's a 30-minute time draw. We're not going to get this." I thought it was very well played and very cleverly done.
It was if you had something to signify the back end of this show. If
Mm,
you had something that could potentially compare,
yeah.
and
Well,
they didn't have that.
it
They did
seems
not.
like no, but the thing is, they were never going to have that, was they? No matter which way they done. The only thing I probably would have said is I would have maybe have put Punk's match on this card, but at the same time, I totally get why they put it on Rampage. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, just a
I
quick segue on that one. Would you have put Punk on there, or would you have put what would you have done differently? Would you have put it in the middle of the card?
I would put it at the end, and I would have opened with Sting and Darby.
Okay.
I would have opened with Sting and Darby. You got crowd favorites. They would have been hot into that, which I think is I thought that was a very good match too. I think
Mm,
that was fun. I'm
it
I'm a
was.
huge
Well, we're
Mark.
going to get on to that because I need to. I've got something very important to say about that match. Now,
Sure.
MJF and Brian Pillman. Obviously, we're not going to go too much into it, but we'll just have a little bit of a chat.
They hung up on me on
Yeah,
Bubba on Bully Ray's show about that though.
yeah. MJF was brilliant in this as always. Just one of them though. Do you know what I kind of felt like, when I was watching this match, and as I say, we keep this brief because I don't want to go into every single match in detail because we only do an hour, don't we? But one thing I will say is I was I was sitting at home and I was thinking to myself, if only MJF matches was as good as his promo.
He's not at the level where he's elevating people though during matches, nor do we expect him to do that either. I think that when we watch him, we love his promos and we love the way he acts, but I don't think put him in with that top tier talent right now. Even though he was just against Jericho,
Mm,
he was against Jericho, but this is Jericho now. It's not Jericho
mm,
15 years ago.
yeah. Well,
So
as I say, I thought he was good. I just thought I don't know whether it was just these two didn't mesh, but they were okay. It was an all right match. It was what it was. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. Cody needs to turn heel.
I booed him. I booed him even more when Brandy came out too, because she's not needed. They're trying to promote a TV show now. I'm totally not into everything that I'm seeing right now with him. I don't think
No.
Cody wants to turn heel. He's even gotten reports where he'll retire if he turns heel. Well, he's going to turn heel because he's not retiring.
Now, do you know what it is
Look at how
with
that works.
Do you know with Cody? And I believe he thinks he is the AEW John Cena.
Oh yeah,
And
the guy's
somebody stated to me that they were at a show. I don't think it was the Grand Slam show, but I think it was something not too long ago. And they turned around and stated that the people in the demo that AEW seemed to be going after, the 18 to 49, were booing him, but the little kids were screaming for him. So it's interesting to get that kind of feedback on it.
well, WWE is demographing to families and not the 1849. So
Mm,
maybe if he goes back there, he might be actually somebody.
yeah,
It's not going to happen, but
no, no. But no, I don't know whether he sees him. But the thing is, as well, with his clout and stuff, if he sees himself as the John Cena of AEW, and the thing is, you don't know what his merchandise sales are like either. You know, if he's doing really, really well off the merch and stuff, then they probably won't pull the trigger as quickly as what you'd think they would.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any Cody shirts.
No,
I saw
but
nobody wearing Cody shirts, and they're never going to disclose that information either,
no, no,
because
no.
that just shows that could be kind of a failure for them
Mm,
bringing a
yeah,
guy like that in.
that's it.
But let's just put it out there. He was never a wizard in the ring.
Hmm. Well,
He
one thing I
sells like
am
Cena.
okay. Well, yeah, he does, but he's just not Big Match John, is he? Let's face it.
No,
But I've had enough of that match. It didn't do either of them any favors. Just is what it is. Now,
bad ending.
FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin. I'm just gonna do this, mate. Right, and I'm gonna hold my hand up and say that applause is for FTR because I have slammed them. I really have, and I don't think they're doing well. I'm not saying they're not good in ring workers, but I've kind of not liked what they've been doing a lot. And the way they maneuvered around Sting in this match and the way they sold and whatever else is they just done such a good job here and they made Sting look $1 million off the back of it.
Uh, this is probably, oddly enough, the one match that I knew was going to be really good. And even the person I was with, who's not an FTR guy, and the other person I was with, I said, look, this is the second time I've ever seen them live. I saw them against DIY
Mm-hmm.
at NXT 2, at TakeOver 2 in Brooklyn. I said, they won't disappoint. And the guys looked at me, they said, they didn't disappoint. He's
Mm.
like, that was incredible. And especially doing that coffin drop to the outside.
Yeah.
The second one. The first one, the guy I was with is a huge Darby fan. I love Darby too, but he's like, I never saw that. I'm like, that's because you didn't see wrestlers that are smart enough to do that.
Yeah, I really like Darby. I think he's a cracker. And I thought he was his normal self in here. I just thought the way FTR bumped around Sting and worked around him, it just made him look $1 million. And again, goes back to that saying about the selling, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Every time I see something like that, just Bruce Pritchard's voice just echoes in my head. And with that one there again, I was just like, you know what, bravo, lads, bravo for that. You know.
Did you like when Dax Hardwood stuck his tongue out and did the Undertaker thing?
Yeah, they are smart. Okay, so we'll talk about the main event. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a good match, to be honest with you, and it wasn't. Britt Baker is so over. She is. She's over. But it just wasn't what it needed to be. I don't think. I think it was really poor. What's your thoughts on this match?
Crowd was dead.
Yeah.
And everybody said that's because of how you put Kenny and Bryan Danielson on first. And I said, no, you know why it's dead? You have a 2-week build for this match.
Mm. Yeah.
I said, you also have Ruby Soho coming in and doing a tag match with, I was going to say Dakota Kai, Rio, with Rio and Chris Statlander. Nothing built from there. I said, yeah, Ruby's good in the ring, but don't make her out to be a wizard.
No, because she is not.
No.
Yeah, I think also, do you know one thing that I've noticed with AEW? Do you know if they had, well, in my opinion, again, it's only my opinion, but if they had the kind of production values of WWE in terms of, these vignettes that they do before the matches, it's like, I feel like they'd work so much for them because, they're still getting new viewers every week. Let's face it, they're still building and there's people turning in and whatnot on a weekly basis. And just by having maybe that 2 or 3 minute video before each match to kind of build up to how we got to this match would one make it feel more important just on straight from the off, but also if you're a fan that's turning in for the first time or tuning in to watch it and you flicked over and you come across this and you watch that vignette and you watch that kind of build to this match, yeah, it might hook you to stay and watch the actual match.
It's not like he hasn't spent money on the rights to songs to build up anything. I don't think selling any amount of sizzle would done anything for this though. I just feel like, you know what, you got guys that don't work well with each other. It was just clunky. It was a
Mm.
mess. And that's why, and I will say this, as a wrestling fan, we should there's probably just a little bit of a more of a virtue signal or anything.
Mm.
Call bad shit out as fans. WWE does it, NXT does it, AEW does it, okay, MLW does it, TNA does it a lot more than them. Call bad shit out. Just
Mm.
because somebody likes one thing doesn't mean you have to like it all.
Yeah.
I told you what that person said about Aubrey.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
said, how? Yeah, fuck her.
yeah,
She is, the guy
bitch.
said to me, she's like, oh, she was all about herself the other day. And you'll see
Mm.
on Rampage how she did the Hobbs and
Yeah,
Punk
just for
match.
people who are listening, tell us exactly what that stupid mark of an idiot said.
Guy says, I go, look at Aubrey. She's terrible in the ring. She doesn't know, like, I'm not a ref, but we've been watching. We understand what goes on. We're smart people. She doesn't
Mm.
give a shit about her job. She's all about herself and looking the part. And the guy said to me, after I said that, he goes, yeah, but she's over.
She's a referee.
But she's over. And I said to him, I'm like, if I was over and I shat in your hand and told you it's ice cream, are you going to eat it? Because I'm over. Does that mean that you have to accept every fucking thing that you do? Excuse me.
No, it's right though, isn't it? Yeah. It's just like, but she's over. She's a referee. They're not meant to be over. They're not even meant to be known in a match. And it's just like, go away. Oh, she just winds me up. She does. She really does wind me up. But it is what it
Before
is, isn't it?
before a match would start, you would hear "You screwed Brett" on TV to Earl Hebner. You didn't hear it during a match.
No,
Who chants for a ref during a match?
I know. And the thing is, even when it was the invasion angle and they had Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick, and even the referees looked awkward doing it, like they didn't want to do it. They didn't look like they wanted to be in that spotlight because obviously they become referees for a reason.
Yep.
As I said the other day, I think Aubrey's just a failed wrestler who wants to get over.
And she's lucky enough.
Mm,
And she's
And I,
lucky enough to
s-
play video games now.
mm, and I swear to God, if she is a playable character on AEW's game, or I see an Aubrey T-shirt, that is me and Tony Khan done. I swear
Yeah.
to God.
It's going to happen. You know that. She already
I
has
don't know.
action figures out. Her action figures. Does she not have a chin? Look at her profile. I don't think she has a chin.
No, there's a rumor that she's got half a chin or something there, but I don't know really what it is. Maybe a pair of bollocks under there or something. Who knows?
Like Peter Griffin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But she might have like a little creature that lives there because she just looks like a plastic lady, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, the lipstick doesn't help. But
Yeah.
anyway,
All
guys,
right.
I promise we'll never do that again about any
No,
person here. We don't like her for a reason.
no, yeah,
All about herself.
she's a dickhead. She's a dickhead who just should just counter free. But yeah, we'll do a whole episode one day on how much we hate Aubrey. I think it'd be an awesome episode to do.
Yeah.
One last thing on Dynamite, I am gonna say CM Punk is a hypocrite. He's a massive hypocrite, and he needs to have a word with himself. Now, I'm a big wrestling fan, as you know, mate, same as you are, Dale. You know, but I will call bullshit when I see bullshit. And CM Punk coming out every week, and I've come back to professional wrestling. Okay, now this week it's New York is getting professional wrestling. Obviously, is a jab at sports entertainment, yeah. But when you are coming out week on week giving promos, that is sports entertainment, you idiot. If you want to go on about professional wrestling, get in the ring every week or shut up. Rant over.
Valid. If you want to speak to volumes like that, then tell Brandon Cutler to go home.
Mm.
We don't need a librarian on Dark. We don't need
No.
people dressing up in shirts because of the first men or the best men club or whatever that is.
Yeah.
The Vax Wax, what are they? The groomsmen or the bachelor? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So sports entertainment, it's been a part of this industry for years.
Yeah.
So when you sit there and you want to do the Randy Savage pointing in the air, that's entertainment. That's part of the sports package.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, if they want to go through these really 5-star matches and all that, absolutely fine. But I just don't like somebody taking a jab when you're not actually getting in the ring every week. This is only your first televised match, and you've been coming out every week, promo, commentary, promo. It's like, don't go on about entertainment when you're not getting in the ring and you're just doing it this way. The other thing I want to say about it as well is WWE do have a style of match that suits them. They are sports entertainment and they're happy about it. So what? Then you do the professional wrestling thing, but actually get in the ring and have a good match, because your first match back wasn't very good. No, so
There's more pro wrestling on WWE. I'm sorry, there is.
Yeah.
And then when you see the spot, I know you didn't watch Rampage yet. When you see the spot that the Young Bucks did on Rampage, I'm not kidding you. I got up and walked out of the arena. Granted, I worked the next day. It was good dramatic effect, but that was my dramatic effect for their dramatic sports entertainment crap that they did.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say as well is seeing something on Facebook the other day about Becky Lynch saying she's more sports entertainment than wrestling, and somewhat like loads of people were slamming it on Facebook, as they do, and I just wrote about it is wrestling is just one sports entertainment takeaway from being a Young Bucks match.
Yeah,
because you take away the entertainment of a wrestling match, and you've just got high spot. Do you know what I mean? There's stories to be told, and that's the entertainment part. And as I say, you take away the story in a match, and you're only one story away from being a Young Bucks match, because
ballerinas.
Yeah,
it's ballet at that point. Swan Lake.
And the thing is, even like that, I don't really ever slam the Young Bucks or anything like that, because I'm one of these people that thinks everybody's got an opinion and wrestling is the cater for everybody. No problem at all. Do you know what I mean? That's fine. That's the way it is. But don't sit there and slam the other side of it and make it out like the Young Bucks are the God's gift and this is great, when they're not, in my eyes. And they might be in somebody else's. They are very controversial, but
I'll tell you what, though. And we haven't touched up on this. The Dark Side of the Ring the other day, they were on it, and I didn't know that they had such a strong relationship with Canyon, with Chris Canyon, and I didn't know he trained them. But he also trained Brian Cage, which I had no idea about.
interesting.
And I didn't, and they were both on it. All three of them were on it, and they're kind of different styles, but not in the same type.
Yeah.
But they spoke very highly and they were very respectable. I'm sure they're great people. I'm sure Brian Cage is a cool guy. I'm sure that I have a feeling, what, you want to digress into a little bit of back talk here?
Yeah.
Backstage stuff. You think that he would be the first one to get laid off from AEW, Brian Cage?
Potentially. Well, he's injured at the moment, isn't he now as well?
I don't know.
Only his knee's gone. But Mrs. Cage had a lot to say on social media, didn't she?
Yeah.
So he could be. It could be. And he fits the WWE moniker, doesn't he? How old is he?
38, 36 or 38, I thought.
So they won't be interested in him.
No, but they weren't. You know what? I just read Booker T had a quote, and he says, well, every time at the Performance Center, Willie Hobbs would have his bag out there and wanting to come in, and nobody gave him a shot. Telling you, I told my friends, I said, watch this guy come to the ring against Punk.
Yeah.
And guy had a great match. It was a much better match than the Darby one. And I'll say that because it looked like somebody got their sea legs back and kind of had to guide this young rookie, this young kid.
Okay, so one last thing on AEW is I did see Men of the Year versus Jericho and Hagen. I like the way that Hagen and Jericho lost this one. And what was Jericho's? Oh, did you go before Jericho's entrance?
I did. I just watched it though.
Oh,
Actually, I heard the singing, and somebody
yeah,
recorded it to me. I thought he was going to dress up as like a tennis pro.
yeah. I think the show as well. I mean, I know I said this to you the other day, but with 2 hours of Dynamite and 2 hours of Raw, it'd be interesting. Like, obviously, I know I haven't watched Rampage yet. I just haven't had time to watch it. I've had a busy day today, but it's just interesting to see, like, does the crowd dip off in the CM Punk match?
Yeah. Well, look at dude. Look at the card that they had here. AEW Rampage is it's what we thought NXT was going to subject themselves to. We thought NXT was going to be like that Rampage, and it wasn't. AEW Rampage took it to a whole new level. And did I see Fuego del Sol again on there?
Yes, I think so.
Come on.
Yeah, but also, as I say, with the crowd popping down, by the time we got to the Punk match, you nearly, sorry, the Moxley match, you're like 4 hours in, aren't you? It's a long time to,
Yeah,
and a long time to watch. You know what I mean?
I watched that last night. He mailed it in again.
Yeah.
I'm glad I left.
Well, it is what it is.
Why
Right,
do you
let's
think
move on.
they're?
Oh, sorry,
Do
go
you
on,
think?
mate.
No, that's okay. Do you think it's going to be? It's a vanity project for him to face all these people from New Japan or Japan, I should say.
Mm, I think that's all. I think once do you know what? I see him going back to WWE. I really do, because I just feel like he'll do this whole Japan stuff. He may have a match with Punk, because I don't believe he had the match with him the first time round, did he? And then I'm not sure whether he did in WWE.
No, I think Punk paid them to kill Ryback. I think that's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah. And he'll probably have that match, and then I think he'll go back to WWE. I feel like sometimes it's like, the young kid that has to go out and get it out of his system before he settles into his marriage. I feel like that's what it is with Mox. I don't feel like he's with AEW for long term. I may be totally wrong about this, but he just seems to be wanting to do all these matches, and then where he's got no match to do, it's just thrown with Eddie Kingston against anyone, and then it's back to another Japanese star or another first match when he does go into these little programs. So it'd be interesting. I think he'll be the first big profile to go over to WWE.
I think they're treating Suzuki like Andre when they were blending talent. I think because the main thing back then was if Senior needed a heel or if Senior needed some talent from one of the territories, it was kind of like a swap. It was almost like WCW and ECW with WWE. They said, all right, can we get this guy for how much? And the guy goes, all right, yeah, I'll give him to you. And Vince McMahon Senior would be like, all right, take Andre for an extra 3 weeks. You know why, right? That's people are going to see it. But Suzuki is not that.
No, he's nowhere near as good as Andre. But I don't know. As I say, last words on that. Didn't think their match was great. Even with Thingy coming back, didn't think it was great still.
Nah, the match yesterday just sucked.
That was where Homicide coming. It was just playing to the New York crowd, wasn't it? And the funny thing about it is a lot of AEW fans probably won't have any know on who this is. But okay, so we'll go to SmackDown. Roman Reigns. We're not going to bother with Raw and NXT because it's not relevant now. Roman Reigns against Montel Ford. Ford. Ford is a UK car manufacturer. Montez Ford, and I was really happy when I seen this, because I said to one of my friends a while back that I feel like Montez Ford is going to be the one that out of the Street Profit. I think like he's earmarked to become a star. I do. What's your thoughts on him?
That's because Angelo Dawkins looks like you or I in a singlet. except with a better tan. No, did you see yesterday when the table broke and he just stared at the table? Yeah, I thought I was like, that's great because that's natural. I don't like the whole shouting and just saying certain things all the time. It reminds me of just trying to be the Rock with your monologues, and he does way too much of that. I feel like, his personality should be dimmed down a little bit,
Yeah.
but not dumbed down to where Big E is,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing
but
is with him is he's only a young talent, isn't he? And let's face it, you remember the young Shawn Michaels and the Rockers. He wasn't exactly the polished
heartbreak
article, was
kid.
he? So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a bit of the right gimmick change and stuff. If he goes down that route with him, then yeah, not mad at that. But yeah, and then obviously we had the obligatory Finn Balor interruption to set up for the obviously because them two are going to be in the only Extreme Rules match on Extreme Rules. And then after that we had other things off that show. Obviously McAfee must dance. So not only has Nakamura won because he has to, so McAfee can dance. But did you notice? Have you watched SmackDown?
Not too much of it yesterday.
Okay, so there was a part where as they were going to the commercial break, they had Boogs and Nakamura on the screen, and it was like Shinsuke Nakamura coming next. Obviously, McAfee, yes, and all the drama that goes alongside that. It just shows you that like he's really getting over at the moment with this whole thing, Nakamura.
Yeah, and he should be.
Yeah.
Somebody said this is kind of interesting. If the WWE did what did the ending of Omega and Bryan the other day, if they did that, right, they would get criticized for it. Instead, they said that WWE would have ended the match the way they ended AJ and Nakamura from WrestleMania a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I sat there, I said, huh, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Do you think enough fans would have called bullcrap on that if that match ended that way?
Yeah.
I only think that right now because we're talking about Nakamura, and I don't think he's gotten his fair share yet.
No.
I think it's on his way.
Yeah, I think also what's sad for me is, don't get me wrong, I'm loving the whole Nakamura and Boogs thing, but what makes me sad is the fact that Shinsuke is such a good ring worker, and they sport entertainment than him.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I'm not gonna start saying go to AEW, they'll know what to do with him. No, I won't say that. But I hope he does start getting in some really good matches again. He's still solid matches, don't get me wrong. I just feel like he's being spun entertained as it was. They've changed the style and whatnot. So be interesting to see what he does next, Shinsuke.
Yeah. Liv Morgan was on. She had an interview with Lick Recca and Bully Ray the other day.
Yeah.
And she's a likable character, and I think they're definitely giving her a run.
Well, they seem to be because I noticed obviously Vega defeated Morgan, but Morgan's got a match on Extreme Rules with Carmella. But it was interesting. Michael Cole was going the social media darling, Liv Morgan, and I was like, "So you are paying attention to social media?" No.
Yeah.
So obviously they are, because they don't just come up with that comment. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if that line's being fed to Cole or whether Cole's just said that.
I think they are paying attention a lot more because I think Braun Breaker has gotten a lot of steam rolling because of how many. I'm telling you, that a lot of people have said his name. He's been a huge topic of conversation.
I like him.
He's going to be great. We talked about this.
Yeah.
We want them to use the signer name. They have some, but I guess if you are Samoan descent, it's okay to bring up your relatives. But if you're not part of that, then you're just an average white guy.
Yeah, it's a bit daft, isn't it? But
you know what? Like he's pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah. Happy
you
talk.
Come on, you didn't like the Offspring reference there? That was good.
He's like that. I was hoping you were going to say that. I was leading you into that.
Yeah, I reeled in that.
Happy Corbin with happy talk. Big thumbs up from me.
We love it. And he's hanging
yeah.
out. He's hanging out with Riddick Moss now, huh?
Yeah, I see that.
I
And,
saw. I was like, "Well, Riddick's there." I'm like, "Oh, the former great 24/7 champ."
Yeah. And then we had he attacked Kevin Owens, obviously further their feud. Nothing wrong with that. Happy days. Then we had ASH versus Natalia. I was so happy for this match.
I came twice.
Yeah,
Poor Rhea Ripley. Poor Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It just frustrates me again because I love the golden era, as I call it, for tag teams. You know, even the Attitude Era was much. I mean, the Attitude Era is where it started creeping in, wasn't it? With the whole throw people together stuff. We still had like the new age outlaws and whatnot, but there was starting to be a bit of a creeping in of this. But when we go back to like Demolition, Half Foundation, the Fabulous Rougeaus, even the Oriental Express, the Rockers, you know, they all had their theme and they were proper tag team and stuff. Now the whole tag team division, you know, whether it's women or male, seems to be throw them together because that's all we've got. We've got nothing for them to throw them together. Apart from RK Bro, which from what I heard backstage was Randy Orton pushing to go with Riddle, and then you know the two of them come up with the name and whatnot. But I don't mind that at all. But you know the rest of it just seems to be like Tamir and Natalia won the tag team championships just because of the names, because of the fathers' names, not because of that they've achieved. And it was a way to throw them on WrestleMania. And then
but
obviously we had.
But with Tamina, though, I mean, do they really have to give her all the respect in the world because her grandfather was a murdering son of a bitch?
As a father.
The father, I'm sorry. Yeah, her father was a murderer.
Do you know what? My brother did not have me crying with laughter. It was about a couple of weeks ago, and I was sort of saying, "No, that line they use, nobody's meaner than Tamina." And as they said that, all he said was, "A dad is." Did that make me laugh?
We don't mean to laugh at what he did.
No. Yeah, it was just like kind of it just stung you in, so didn't it?
Yeah.
Naomi as well. I want to discuss her. She come in and got escorted out the arena on SmackDown for demanding a match. Don't think it will be too long before we see her in the bloodline.
It should happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
100%
gonna happen,
right?
Gonna happen.
Like what's gonna happen? Like, how are they gonna introduce that though? Yeah. She's gonna go after the women's championship that is held by a heel that doesn't know how to be a heel. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Man, they botched up Becky so bad.
Oh,
and we could go into this too. They have a reaction now, a bad reaction to what AEW is. They are just throwing things against the wall, and now it just seems like some weird cluster. And the only thing that they're focusing on, which they're getting right, is NXT, which people thought NXT was crap.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the Joe Gacy on NXT?
No, I did not. I briefly watched NXT. I didn't get to watch the whole lot. I have still got it on pause on my VCR to watch.
Okay. Joe Gacy is the safe space wrestler. He wants to make it a very safe atmosphere for people to wrestle in.
Brilliant.
He is a liberal. He's a social justice wrestler.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of backlash for it, so they took down the Twitter mentions of him.
Yeah, let's just see how we go. Don't tell me no more because I really want to catch up on that.
Oh,
I've got it on my TiVo to watch. I didn't get a chance to watch it all. It's been a bit of a busy week this week, so I
yeah.
haven't been able to watch as much as what I've wanted to. Obviously I've caught up with the main headlines, but just to go on to Extreme Rules, are you looking forward to it?
No.
No.
Because it just seems like one of those cards that just here, let's throw them together. People already bought tickets for it, and this is the stuff where next month you're really going to see a downturn in viewership because of how bad this is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like watching it.
Do you see any title changes on the card?
Um, the only potential one that I could see here, which could actually make a little bit of sense, but I think it's too soon, is somehow Jeff Hardy getting a United States Championship.
Well, if they're planning on putting, they might want to put. Oh God, my mind's gone blank now.
Priest.
Priest over onto SmackDown. Because don't forget, I think we might see some surprises because with WWE, they seem to think they can do what they want and then they can turn around and do and then draft it's all new.
Yeah.
No, so who knows where it's going to go for. See Becky retaining. I don't see her losing to Bianca. I can see Bianca getting drafted though to go up against Flair because I feel like
That'd be cool.
Flair doesn't have no credible apart from Alexa Bliss, but to me Alexa Bliss was always in game for Flair, as in she was the last one that was any credible threat to her on that show.
But now, not now, right?
No, not now.
Because of
No,
how she is. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean here to lose the title, but I mean after Alexa Bliss, I didn't really see where Flair goes.
So she's like Shang Tsung.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the end of Mortal Kombat then at that
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah.
Or would she be Guile? Or I'm sorry, would she be Bison?
She would be Kung Lee, wouldn't she?
No, Kung Lee?
Not Kung Lee. What's it? Liu Kang. She's Liu Kang, isn't she?
Yeah, but Liu Kang. Oh, so Charlotte
I'm
Flair.
not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying Charlotte loses. She's like Liu Kang. She wins, but there's nothing after that.
Right.
Because you tell me if you look at the current Raw locker room and roster, who else is a credible threat to her? She's beaten Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Nikki ASH, Rhea Ripley. She takes out
Nia Jax. Hurt Nia Jax, right?
Yeah. But so apart from Alexa Bliss, who else is left for her?
Shao Kahn. That's it. and that could be Belair. That dude, seriously, yeah, that's a great point, Andy.
Yeah.
Do you believe Nia Jax is injured?
Yes, I do. Because
I think she's going back to NXT.
Well, she may do, but there might be some call-ups from NXT.
You could do that.
Apparently, I think it was Shirai was at backstage at SmackDown last night.
Oh no.
Apparently so. So maybe we might get here. Who else would you bring up off the NXT?
Raquel Gonzalez is ready. I just don't want them to give her the Karrion Kross treatment where, all of a sudden she's still champion, comes up, loses, and then goes back down, whatever. Yeah. I think, you know who you could do? Casey Canizaro and what's her name? Kaden. What's her name? The chick.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That I'd like to see.
Apart from that, I don't really see a lot else on there to go on. Do you know what I mean?
But what if? Do you think that they could draft NXT people?
Well, yet they can, and that's why I'm saying maybe Frankie Monet, but I feel like there's a match for Aaron Gonzalez to have there before he didn't get a call up.
I think LA Knight is destined for SmackDown.
He's not going to the main roster, mate.
Why not?
I just don't see him going there.
He's ready.
Oh, he's ready, but he's old.
I will bet you 10 quid.
Oh no, yeah, all right.
How
I can
much
see
is
him go.
what is a quid?
A quid is $1 in your money. Oh, it's about £1, $1.50 or something.
No, I think our
Depending
dollar
on
isn't
the.
that bad.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Sometimes it's £1 to $2, or £1 to $2.
No, come on. No, our
Yeah,
dollar
yeah.
isn't. Our dollar's shit, but it ain't that bad.
It depends. I've seen it. I've seen it over 1-on-1 before today.
Oh yeah, but it's been 1.4. I thought the dollar is your dollar to us is 1.4 USD.
So $1, £1, or £1 is 1.37 United States dollars.
I was close. I was close. Okay.
But I have seen it up as a 2 before today. But it does fluctuate.
Yes.
Normally it's and you know what's mad about it? It's normally not even the dollar that causes the issue. It's normally the euro that causes the up and down between the pound and dollar. I
Of
don't know
course it
why,
is.
but
And you know what else causes that too?
fucking Europeans.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I totally get why you wanted to get out of the Eastern Europe, European money
Union.
system too. Oh yeah, the EU. Brexit was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
You know what else is a fantastic idea? Cameron Grimes going to Raw.
Yes,
Oh,
100%, 100% have them up there to the moon.
to the moon.
All right, mate. We'll wrap it up for the now. But as I say, next week we're having a week off because I'm on holiday with the kiddies, and obviously we've got a bit of rebranding to do. And then after that, next time we will be back, guys. We'll be around our next episode release will be on the 10th of October. And it will be with a brand new logo, brand new feel, brand new everything. So, look out for it and check it out. But until then, the channel's not going to change. So make sure you hit the likes and subscribe, comments, and all the good stuff that you do for us. And we will see you then. And we hope you enjoy our new content and new channel. Until then,
Absolutely.
From me and Dale, take care, boys and girls.
Children of all ages.
Yeah. Boys and girls, children of all ages. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye now.